ESL Mobile Open is brought to you by DHL and Pay Safeguard.
Hello and welcome to the ESL Mobile Open Weekly Recap. Ladder 2 is in full force right now, and once again we're bringing you all of the highlights and action from Europe, Middle East and North Africa. My name is Banks and I am your host, and joining me in this virtual studio, it's Lethal.
Hello mate, how you doing? Devilishly handsome as always. It's a pleasure to be with you. Look forward to see what's happened over the last week.
Exactly, we've had a fresh reset last week, okay, with the beginning of Ladder 2, so this is the time where the teams can start applying a bit of pressure. And before we get cracking with the highlights of the week, you might be asking yourself, what is the ESL Mobile Open? Well, luckily, we have this cheeky format video to show you to get you up to speed.
Welcome to ESL Mobile, the home of mobile esports. ESL Mobile is a global program designed to give you an opportunity to compete in your favorite mobile games, featuring multiple game titles taking place in 3 regions and offering 2 levels of competition. There's something here for everyone. ESL Mobile Open is the gateway to competitive play, free to join and open to any resident of our supported regions. This is the best way for you to enjoy the thrill of victory and take your shot at winning cash prizes. Each season of Mobile Open will consist of 2 ladders, and the top competitors from each will qualify for the Mobile Open play-ins. ESL Mobile Challenge is your path to glory. If you are a top competitor in the Mobile Open play-ins, you will earn a spot in the Mobile Challenge season. The top team from each ladder will skip the play-ins and qualify directly for the Mobile Challenge season. This is where you'll have the chance to compete against the best players in your region. At the end of each season, top Mobile Challenge players will compete in the Mobile Challenge Finals to determine a winner and be crowned their region's champion. ESL Mobile is for everyone. This is your opportunity to join a diverse and growing community of players across the world and see just how far you can go.
Lethal and myself are going to be bringing you through some of the best moments of the past week in each of our ESL Mobile Open shows in esports. And we're going to kick things off with PUBG Mobile. Lethal, when was your last chicken dinner?
A few weeks ago, so, you know, I feel bad. It's been a while, but never mind. I'm sure the other teams have had plenty more over the last week. One in particular, though, we've got to talk about, as we will look at the standings very shortly, is the fact that number 1 EU, funny enough, they are number 1 EU, had 13 wins. That's ridiculous, to say the least. And looking at some of the other stats as well, the 4 Romanian boys, 228 kills. Marvellous stuff.
It is absolutely unbelievable. Second most wins, by the way, is 9 by OP Devils. So number 1 EU are ahead by 4 game wins in total. It's absolutely unbelievable to see that. And yes, we've got Tip Top Teletubbies. What a fantastic name. Sitting in 4th position. But I mean, look at the difference in points. It's actually not a huge margin. I mean, from number 1 to number 8 is 100 points. Now that is quite significant. But between number 1 and number 6, I mean, we're only talking something like 50 points, Lethal.
Yeah, that's ridiculous to say the least. You know, talking about some of these teams, you've got top players with some top team names, which I love to see. And just going into the bottom 8 now as well, looking at the 9th to 16th placements in terms of these teams. Now, there's a huge margin just due to the fact that the amount of kills some of these teams are getting, as well as the high placements, is just madness. Like I said earlier, the fact that number 1 EU had 13 wins, some of the other teams had 9 wins, 8 wins, and some of these other teams as well, they're probably getting the placement, but not getting the kills to follow through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that begs the question, do you play slow for position? Because, I mean, I've talked about this in previous recap shows that we've done. Do you play for position, or do you play for the maximum amount of kills you can physically get, but then you're putting yourself in danger by opening yourself up to being killed from different positions?
It's a big decision to make. It's more about the numbers game. So if you're still in a 4 stack and you're able to progress the map, you know, quite well, depending on the circumstances and where you're positioned, then you should be okay. You should more go for kills more than anything else. But, you know, if you're not really got the numbers, you're in a 1 or 2 stack and you have to, you know, try and be the snake in the grass and maybe try and go for a cheeky flank, then it's always possible. Even playing some of the last phases, the last couple of phases, especially at the circle, just, you know, doing ring around the rosy, going around the outside, just making sure you can try and find anyone who's trying to play for placements to the kills. That's kind of your opportune moment, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that during these games.
I'm sure we're going to see a lot of snakes in the grass. As we jump into our first map, we got Team 4D right now. It's a 4-kill game right now. We've got 9 alive. There you go, with 3 teams up, but the whole squad is up right now, so they're definitely in an advantageous position, Lethal.
Certainly are indeed, just taking their time. The only problem is they haven't got that circle advantage. Just waiting to see if there is any members around that left and right side, but he should be okay so far. 5 kills is still pretty good, but it's taken a lot of damage. Good spray there. This is almost being cleaned up. Does have a couple med packs, but hasn't got any energy drinks or painkillers to rectify his stack and actually go back to 100 health. But again, good spray from Mash. Great start from him.
We're sitting in a little bit of a stalemate, like you said, a little bit of a semi-push there, and then he's decided to double back, but we're switching over to 7 Sins right now as both teammates get dropped out of the car, so we're switching over to Seiko, sorry, I think, in Team 14. 7 Sins is lying down, basically going to try and push through this building here. Great drop right there, and 2 up from 7 Sins as we progress into 5 teams being up and 10 alive.
Good reaction, good caution as well, jumping out of that buggy and making sure that no one is inside the building by any means. 5 kills, not too bad, as Seiko is going to be looking for more. Does have the Thompson out, does have a few med packs, a couple of energy drinks as well, and he's still got that level 2 backpack to make sure that if he does become one of the last members in that circle, he will not be seen or as visible as the rest of his opponents. But good spray again, sees a couple of members on the opposite side, but gets taken down at the same time. Worth the trade, though, in terms of that 2-for-1 pickup. And would he get revived, though? This is the next question, Banks.
It is indeed. We've got, it's worth noting as well that Rudden, who is the purple little blob on your screen on the top right in your minimap, he's the solo that took down 2 of the 7 Sins players as they tried to escape in the vehicle. And he's actually got circle advantage, but he is a solo right now. 3 teams up, 5 alive. We've got 2 duos and a solo, and it's shaping up to be quite a spicy ending here, Lethal.
Yeah, a bit of a misplaced smoke there, but it doesn't matter. It's going to do the damage, or at least give him the map presence. Map presence is so vital. But you saw there as well, they were just outside the circle, and now we're switching over back to Erangel and see what Ainhad can do here. Just driving up in the Dacia, just making sure that's that positional advantage up on the high ground. But the vehicle's getting heavily slain here, and so is he with the vehicle in itself. You know, not the kind of position you want to be in here, Banks.
Yeah, you're just giving away your position a little bit too much by driving around the edge of the blue. Surely you would try and maybe go for a run. I know you wanted to get the position advantage and potentially use the car as cover as well, but I mean, you're opening yourself up to all kinds of problems by doing that. So you've got Fujitopia right now for ZX right now. And he's just chilling. I mean, what can he do in this situation, Lethal? He's really stuck. He's going to have to just sit behind this tree. He's basically got map position as well inside the circle. And he's just rotating around the tree to just ensure that he doesn't get picked off from anywhere behind him. I don't know if he maybe heard something, but it appears that nothing is behind him. Maybe it's the smoke. What do you reckon it is?
Well, he hasn't got the numbers, so he's just trying to play for placement instead, which is perfectly understandable. But switching over to the next team, we're going to see what they can do here. Only 4 kills so far, which is understandable considering the amount of people who are alive. So we're looking to at least try and double the kill stack if they can. He's actually going to rush straight in just to try and get some more cover and using that smoke to his advantage. But look at this though, he's got 4 med packs, he's got 4 energy drinks, 1 painkiller as well. So he's still got plenty to work with in order to what he wants to do here. And so far, he's just trying to back away, see if he can find any good placement with those nades, but he's already taken a lot of damage in the process and trying to re-heal.
It's interesting to see as well. I'm loving that Fujitopia. You can still see him on the screen. He's just chilling at the top, right at the top of the hill, chilling behind his little tree stack, just trying to just feel out. Basically, the ideal situation for him is he's just waiting for the other teams to kill each other so we can get those placement points, because there's no chance he's really going to be able to push forward. But DRM Ganj gets dropped. And we're going to switch on over to Drogo right now. They're not in the best of positions right now. They're a little bit open, but they're all going to be forced into the circle right now by the blue. And back to Fujitopia at the tree, getting the drops. That's it right there. Get those kill points. Rack up your score as much as you can. Try and basically feel it out. There's 3 teams alive now. We've got to remember, Fujitopia was chilling behind this tree, okay, when there were 5 teams up. He's gone 2 more team placements up. Oh, and he might be about to get dropped. Oh, it's close, Lethal.
That was so close indeed. He's going to try and re-heal, but will he be able to get back into the zone? Oh, literally about 0.1 second. Probably even less than that. That was ridiculous. Using the smokes as well as cover just so that he can reposition himself towards that circle. But this is his main goal. Not just about kills, more about placement. Don't get me wrong, this guy has got a ridiculous spray from long range. That's a great example there. Being able to do that with the M4 from that range is marvelous stuff. Still has a level 3 helmet, still got the armor, still got level 3 backpack, so it will be a little bit visible. But look at this, he hasn't got any kind of meds at all. No med pack, bandages, energy drinks, absolutely nothing in the slightest. All he wants to do now is try and play for placement just to secure a few more points. Team kills, 11, not too bad.
Yeah, Team 16 in the distance. I mean, he's very snaky right now. He's trying to make his way over to this red box to try and basically just get some resemblance of cover that's inside the next circle, but he's got to not peek. He literally just has to sit here. This is one of the things that he's got to do. I don't understand. I think we're about to witness right now. He's going to start peeking and trying to get a few pot shots off. It's just not worth it. Well, I don't understand why he does it. He really needs to just maintain his cover. He's actually got pretty good cover because if you look to his right, you got another solo to his right that's just chilling out there, and he gets dropped because he decides to peek. Lethal, can't believe it.
What I don't understand is the fact that he dropped everything in order to, not be seen by anyone else in one of his opponents, but yet he stands up. So, interesting, a little bit of a question mark, a bit debatable, but I'm sure maybe he had other plans in order to maybe push on through. But Kazuki, good spray from him. He's going to try and back away as he takes down News. He's going to fall back. He's still got a med kit to use, but he hasn't got anything to revive him fully. But that's should be okay here. Still in a 1v3 scenario. Managed to take down 2, but gets cleaned up right at the very end. Good start from him. Almost a good finish, but just couldn't carry away.
Moving over to south of Junkyard on Miramar, we have 4 MIAs, apparently, on this squad right now. Moving on through, I mean, got a nice bit of cover here. Could probably, I was literally about to say he can probably get the res, but just got spotted from the top of that ridge right there. Going to move back into the building to try and basically get the res off so they can be 4 up once again, Lethal. Yeah,
the temptation was there, but maybe he should not have gone for it. He should have just been a bit more patient and let his actual teammate crawl into the building, due to the fact that his opponents did have an incredible height advantage and positional advantage as well. So it was quite difficult. Still outside the circle, but they are on the far side of the circle as well, which means that they need to work quick in order to go through this next phase, as the zone will be coming in shortly. But look and see what they can do. Does have a scar in hand, but plenty of health, plenty of med kits, bandages, you name it, he's got it. He's a walking chemist here, as he could be going straight up that hill. Just deploy a few shots, not to take him down, but just to show that he is here. He is waiting for his opponent to come through, but also at the same time just make himself known so that it lets them know that they need to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more cautious, just trying to gain a bit more ground here, but looking good so far.
I mean, 3 up right now. They're definitely in a good position here. We've got 9 kills as well. So it's proving to be quite a high kill game, and they're putting themselves in a really good position to get a lot of points in this map. But everything can change in a heartbeat. They just need to get the good position. OP over there on the left. We've seen them multiple times on the ESL Mobile Open weekly recap shows. Really, really strong team. Definitely put in the high kill games most of the time. So we're about to see Nan Vin as well in the distance for Team OP, in fact. I mean, he's racking up a lot of kills, and we're probably going to see a few more on this map. Oh, there gets one dropped. The Soka gets dropped. And see, there you go. It can all change in a heartbeat. You got 2 more knocks. One's been finished. There's only 1 up, 3 down. Demon is the last one alive, and he gets dropped. See, it can all change in the space of 5 seconds, Lethal.
Oh, that was such a shame. The problem was they were a team of 3. There was only 3 other teams or 2 left. Even though they had the numbers, in terms of circle advantage, they did not have it at all in the slightest. They had to push in, and that's the worst bit, is the fact that you've got to overextend in order to regain a decent position. Just wasn't going to happen here. As Nanve managed to get some good kills there. Great spray from him. Ridiculous with that AK. He's going to try and throw that frag to see if he can take down any more of the members of ELOC there. Will he be able to, though, with that grenade? He manages to get one, funny enough. Managed to possibly clean up one of the kills he actually bagged earlier on, just using that molly to get him out, and managed to take it. So good stuff from him as we're switching back to old and faithful Erangel.
9 kill game for Nanvin then. That was incredible. But right now we're on 6 kills. It's Team Rain, 7 alive, 3 teams. It's going to be a showdown. We are approaching one of the final circles. It's getting a bit tighter. 7th circle to be precise. And we are literally just north of Mansion on Erangel, like you already mentioned, Lethal. Open circle. You're going to have to use a lot of smokes here. You're going to have to rely on your nades as well, considering it is so open, in fact, sorry. And they've got 3 up. So again, a really good position. It's a 3, a 2 and a 1, I think, that we have up.
Yeah, this could be very close. Still 6 alive, like you've already mentioned. Just trying to reheal just a little bit. He's not going to use his bandages. Not too sure why, but I think he just wants to make sure he can have as much HP as possible. Those 2 bandages would have almost regained his health anyway, as he's still just playing it very, very safe. Still got the M4 in hand as well as the nade. Just looking to see where he wants to nade next. And he's still not too bad in terms of his circle positioning, but he wants to go around that outside, as you can see. He's just been a bit more cautious about it. Still got a med kit if he does get caught by the zone. Only a tad. His teammate is still with him. Team kills 7, looking pretty good. good, but every member on this zone so far is just playing it super patient, waiting for someone to make that first mistake, making sure they can try and get some kind of advantage on their opponent. But this is much slower than what we expected compared to when we first came into this banks. And it looks like now Yo-Yo is going to see if he can actually push it in ever so slightly, looking for that one kill, but gets taken down in the process as Distian actually managed to take 2 for himself. Still 6 alive, just a couple knocked down.
This is a difficult position because you got Rain, you got a barbecue over on the left-hand side. Can he get off any of these reses? We've got 2 down. They're making their way over towards him. Are they giving away his position by crawling over to him if they manage to get a pot shot on? Team 18 up on the top left is the only solo at the moment. So we got Rain as the solo. Now, they basically put Fell, Team 22, on our screens right now. They put them in a really advantageous position because they're the only duo that are up now. And we kicked off with 3. Oh, they should have just played it a little bit more safe. We've still got 17 kills, so still a decent amount of points, even if they come out of this second, but we've got 2 teams alive. Can Barbecue make it happen? Oh, he gets dropped right at the end there. It's so difficult there. 1v2. I mean, it's got to be... something special's got to happen to pop off, maybe land a nade and then switch over. But we're over on Miramar right now with Team 1, just south of Los Leones.
That's the problem you see. You know, even though you've got the numbers, you're trying to use that strategic aggression to increase the kill load, which they did try to do. They had the height advantage, but not the position they needed, so they got taken down, which is a little bit of a shame. But Valentine, let's see what he can do here for Team 6 and find out what he can do. He's still not no kills as of yet, but his team does have 6, so he's going to be looking for his first frag on the board. Still using the M4. Still got a fair amount of meds in order to work with. He does take a fair amount of damage. Just managed to see 1, but literally like 5 or 10% of health. Yeah, you do that. You use that med kit. But look at that now. You can see he's actually repeat and still managed to finish him off. That was so close. But this is the difference between good players and greatness. It's the fact that you fail to predict and use your initiative to the possibility of your opponent re-peaking. And he delayed it so long. His opponent thought he's already backed off to re-heal. Great play from him and great first kill on this map.
Confidence play there by one Valentine. Now popping off shots again from Team 12, trying to escape in the car. Gets another drop. Here we go. Here come the kills for Team 1. Valentine absolutely racking them up, getting some really good vantage on them as well. All he's basically looking for, as he almost goes down, is he's trying to get some call-outs to his teammates to basically let them know what is happening on the positioning of the players down south, further down the hill. As I mean, his teammates have really spread, aren't they? Right down. They're trying to push into the blue from the opposite side. So Valentine is literally just providing call-outs and trying to get us a few knocks as we approach the later game.
Look at this, though. You can see Sky, all 3 members are trying to push towards Valentine here from Team 1, but Sky do take down 1. So you can see Valentine, actually their team could sandwich the entire team of Sky if they want to. Some good back and forth here. They've realised that they're actually being completely surrounded as the push comes in. This is what I mean. The coordination and the synergy from both these players needs to be in sync. As they're trying to push up onto him, Valentine does get taken down. Sky, the entire team had to push one of the sides. Eventually it was towards Valentine as he does get taken down. 47 does have that scar in hand, switching to the AK, and now he's just trying to regroup, but also trying to restack as much ammo and everything he can as much as possible. As everybody's got a great helmet to work with, does have the meds, but is he going to realise that Sky's directly behind this rock? He's going to try and flank on through, but he's actually going to get picked off only so slightly, only taking a tickle of damage as he's now trying to get out of that zone, but also trying to survive. It does finish off on the teammate of Sky eventually. So look a bit of time there, tried to go for the flank, but someone else was trying to finish him up. But Kenzu now manages to take a little bit of damage of his own, does get taken down there, was trying to finish him up around that left side. So you can see 2 of the members are down. Solo, funny enough, is the last man left standing for their team. Still 5 alive. Not sure he's going to be able to do it even with that M4, even though there's a fair amount of meds, but it's going to be a real struggle here. It's going to push on through, go for the flank, and gets taken down right at the very end. Good stuff from Sky. You've got to remember, 2 or 3 of their members were directly in the middle of all the other teams in general, and it's so hard to get out of that situation. If you want to, you need to just push all one side together in sync and in perfect coordination, and that's what they did after a little bit of time. Great stuff on that.
Team 1 had definitely a great pinch going, but it just made Sky, forced them to push basically, and when they pushed up, they got the advantageous position. They were able to sit at the top peak, and they had a great position basically to just close out the game. So Team 1 effectively aided that win for Sky, unfortunately, when they did have a good pinch going. But hey, that's how it happens, and they managed to secure the chicken dinner at the end there. But to keep up to date with everything happening in the ESL Mobile Open, just put !social in the chat. Give us a follow, and you can stay up to date with all your favorite esports. But up next, we have all the action from this week in Clash Royale.
ESL Mobile Open is brought to you by DHL and Pay Safeguard.
Clash Royale has a few dominant faces now on the ESL Mobile Open leaderboard, and surprisingly, Lethal, the leaderboard hasn't actually had many changes though from last week, which is quite surprising. So we'll have a quick look at the leaderboard shortly, but before that, I've got to talk about last week. We had a bit of an MVP moment because Derplight, who we're going to see some of his gameplay from this week as well, got one of the quickest triple crowns I've ever seen at this level, because he just dominated with a Lava Hound followed by Inferno Dragon and just kept sending in waves and waves of air attacking troops and just dominated. So it's great to see some players really taking the initiative to just go all out offensive, because that's what makes it exciting for us to talk about, right?
Well, you know, I love a bit of aggression, you know, just like any other person. And I'm exactly the same as you in terms of I like that kind of style of play, you know, trying to force out the first mistake rather than wait for the first mistake to happen. And I'm interested to see the decks and, you know, how things have changed over the last couple of weeks in terms of the meta. But we are going to look now and see, and it looks like Shadow is still up there, the Romanian powerhouse still in second place, but Luke is still doing damage here.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas still, it kind of looks like he's leagues ahead, really, but everything can change in quite quick succession depending on who you spin against, really. Game Freak TV still having a bit of a shaky time down there in 6th position. He's currently, I think, 11-7, if I'm correct in saying. I will quickly check that right now. Yes, he is indeed 11-7 right now. And I mean, going from a 16-0 in the first ladder, I mean, you got to think, has he set his own bar maybe slightly too high?
It's very difficult to say. That's actually shocking, to say the least. The fact that you've got that many wins undefeated and then dropping straight down, it depends who he's been playing against as well over the last few weeks in terms of, like, you know, what matches. Maybe he's played against some of the top players now, and it's just dropping him further and further back due to the fact that he wants to try and improve himself as a player, knowing that he can get better, but he's actually losing the matches as it's happened. So it's a little bit of a shame, but like I mentioned before, as long as you hit that top 8, then that's all that matters.
Exactly. Speaking of top 8, slithering in there is David Rooney, who is a frequenter of our first ladder matches, and he managed to come in to the top 8 with just 2 matches so far. He's only played 2, but both high point wins, because he played against Derplite, who's currently in 4th, and so he's just racking up those points nice and easy. Quality over quantity, Lethal, as we go into our first match, who consequently is Derplite versus Beneficious. Let's see if Derplite can do it again, coming in with an Inferno Dragon, Skelly Dragons, Minor, Elite Barbs, and a Fireball for Derplite. Lots of air attacks once again, Lethal.
I love that. Goes in straight with the Minor straight away. Interested to see what he's going to do next with that Baby Dragon and the E-Giant later on. Just both of them, you know, leaking the elixir here, just chilling, just being very, very patient to find out who's going to do what and where. Both players looking to counter each other. But look at it, the E-Giant does come out, does take a lot of HP in order to try and take him down in terms of hit points. So we'll have to see how he's going to counter that.
Interesting fight Derplite right now. He split the Skelly Dragons to see which side of Beneficious is going to defend against. Look at the Elite Barbs, absolutely decimating that right side tower. Bosh, there's your first crown. Skelly Dragons and the Elite Barbs make a push also for that King turret. Now it's activated. It's going to be a little bit difficult for the damage, but now take your eyes to the bottom left of your screen. The E-Giant and the Dark Prince are hammering down on Derplite. This is looking to be a quick one again, Lethal.
Yeah, there was nothing he could have done. With the Dark Prince behind that E-Giant as well, there was nothing he could have done. He didn't have enough DPS to try and even delay that in the slightest, and even still pushing towards that King Tower, still doing a little bit of damage, not a huge amount, but still being a massive pain in the backside here, and still struggling to take it down. Finally, after another 10-20 seconds, has been taken down, but the King Tower's already down to 2,418 now in terms of HP, and looking to take this left tower out as well.
I mean, the E-Giant, it costs a lot, but damn does it pack a punch. Not only is it so good for tanking for other troops like the Dark Prince, as we saw, but also it deals a lot of damage. It's not like if you use a Golem, you have that slow roll, but the Golem doesn't deal out a huge amount of damage. But look at this, the Skelly Dragon gets a few shots off on that left side tower of Beneficious, and we're down to 1-3-1-7. So damage in favor of Derplite right now. Beneficious is going to need to pull something out of the bag, possibly another E-Giant followed by a Dark Prince. That seems like it's going to be his meta for this war.
Yeah, he's been doing that since the very beginning. You're absolutely right with the Baby Dragon coming out, and like you mentioned, the E-Giant has decided to make another play and is going to be consistently doing that, like you've already mentioned. And the Skarmy still in Derplite's back pocket, and the Minor, so it depends when he's going to use that as well. Just buying his time, just focusing on that left tower, which is perfectly understandable, only on 1,317 HP. But will he be able to do that as the troops are all barging through? But look at this, the E-Giant's already taken so much damage over the halfway mark, pushing towards that King Tower. And is it going to be enough?
Derplite's definitely caught on to the fact that Beneficious is trying to do this E-Giant along with the Dark Prince push. So he's trying to get them down as much as possible before they make their way to that King turret. It's done a really good job of that, and now it is time for Derplite to go on the offensive. But E-Giant gets dropped again. Can the Elite Barbs take it down before it makes it to the King turret?
You see it there as well, even the Dark Prince is just trying to get there as quick as possible, as they both did not go together, looking to take that left tower if they can. Still have a little bit of time now, as we're going to go into sudden death, still a couple minutes added in order to try and take out another one of his towers if possible. But looking a lot better from Derplite, still got the DPS there just to be a bit of a nuisance, be a bit of a pain. But you see there as well, Beneficious just can't really defend it in the slightest, as the Skarmy comes in again to try and finish things off. Will it be able to though, and be able to do enough damage onto that left tower? It actually does, and Derplite takes that game. Nicely done. He was delaying that Skarmy for such a long time, and eventually actually managed to use the chance to, finish that left tower out. Brilliant stuff.
Derplite definitely doesn't like to be on the back foot, does he? Loves to just constantly push out, be on the offensive, and he hates being on that back foot. That's why that E-Giant and Dark Prince was really getting his back up, but came out the winner, and here we go. This is map 2. So Derplite, if he wins this one, that's it. He's won the war against Beneficious. So here we go. Derplite coming in with Minor, Elite Barbs, Ice Golem, Mortar, and Spear Goblins. Beneficious with the Fireball, Elite Barbs, Mortar, Log, and Minor. So we got both predominantly ground attacks. We typically don't see this from Derplite, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out and if he's as good on the ground as he is in the air.
Very similar decks, probably the exact same. It could be a mirror matchup here, as we're going to see exactly what is going to be used next. So a couple units have been dropped down just to take out that right tower, but not before those elite barbs coming from the right side. But how is this going to be counted as the log comes in? It's going to be E-barbs versus E-barbs. Anyway, the ice golem could be his next choice, which it will be, just to try and push on through on that right side. So only a tickle of damage here from both sides, both from those right towers here, as the miner could be used on the upper side, but it also uses the ice golem of his own, which is understandable to say the least. And not really too much here, just quite, I would say, a little bit patient in terms of what they want to do, just trying to feel each other out with the mortars as well.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do if you're faced against an opponent that's like tactically just as good, but has exactly the same deck as you? Are you waiting for that critical error like you've mentioned before? Or do we just go, oh, no holds barred, straight in, don't worry about the defense, let's just absolutely start ticking away the damage, like using these miners in an ideal situation like that? But I think it comes down to spells and spell usage right now, Lethal.
Yeah, absolutely. And also using the DPS from the towers as well, just so that at least you can take their units down first, and then you can retaliate with something even more powerful as your army accumulates over a certain period of time. But still, very, very slow. Both players using that ice golem. The musketeer could have come out on the side of Veiny Fishes. But what can he do here? At least with the range of the musketeer, can keep the ice golem back. Both of them still using that mortar, just going back and forth. And, you know, not really too much to say here is the fact that it's just a very patient game as those spear golems have been taken down. So the goblins, and now they're going to be pushing up from the south side again with the E-barbs and see what they can do here. So, yeah, very similar pushes, very similar techniques on what they want to do, but they both have the same idea as well. It's just better of who's going to be more aggressive and who's going to make the first mistake.
Yeah, who's going to chip away that damage? As you notice that Dirtblight's right side tower gets attacked by the miner, the log, and also the fireball. So he's pretty much doing exactly the same. Dropping the Dirtblight is throwing the log at that right side tower of Beneficious and just basically trying to get anything. A chip away from the miner as well. Ice Golem pushing on this left side is going to get taken down before it can make it. And the mortar just on defense. It literally is just a little bit of back and forth. 20 seconds left on the timer. It's going to drop down. Is it going to be Is it going to go out to a tiebreaker and it's going to be based on damage, or are we going to be able to get one of them down? I think it is down to the spells like we've mentioned at the beginning of this war.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise here. As you can see now, the spear goblins have been taken down. The E-barbs are going to now push up. The mortar is still there, finally going to get taken down. It's been there for such a long time, and, you know, definitely worth its weight in gold and the value it's really brought to the table. Takes down the musketeer as well before it get finished off. The ice golem still going on that right side. But you can see again, the spear goblins are going to try and delay the inevitable if they can. They shouldn't really have too much of a problem here. Yes, it does, but it does have a ice golem of its own. They're going to push up on that mortar. It brings up its own mortar as well. And this is a time for Dirtblight to do extra damage and maybe even take out that right tower here, Banks, as he's almost bound to finish things up. Not quite as of yet, trying to do a little bit more with the miner, but sadly just does not happen. And let's see the response now for Veiny Fishes.
It's just log and fireball. Let's go. Using the log quite well as defense, but then more importantly on offense right now. Dropping it just before the bridge is essential because you're just getting off that 100, maybe a bit more. 15 down. There we go. Dirtblight manages to take the win there, but very back and forth as you would have expected, as they've got the identical decks. So they're literally just defending against their own deck essentially. But good use of the log there, good use of the miner as well, and the fireball, and essentially that's what it comes down to. You're just going to have to use your spells to identify what you can do to outwit your opponent, and ultimately Dirtblight came away with the win, but Beneficious was extremely good right until the very end.
See, that's the thing with the logs as well. It's just to try and delay the inevitable as much as you can before they come in, and then you can use that elixir to get some better troops and just be a little bit more patient. And yeah, you know, in terms of a mirror matchup, it was so back and forth, both doing almost equal damage. Both had the right idea in terms of when to use the miner, when to maybe get a feel for what spells they've used, and like maybe try and take advantage of the towers and then try and do as much damage as possible. But Dirtblight did that perfectly, did that really well on that right tower every single time. And I think the timings of his units and how good his defending was just next to none.
Well, not only did Beneficious go up against Dirtblight in fourth, he also went up against Lucas GSM, who is currently our leader. So you would think it's quite a tough one. We're kicking things off. Lucas is already 1 up in the series, all right? So this is basically Beneficious needs to win this to tie it up, and then we'll go into the third game. Or Lucas can close this out right here, right now. Beneficious coming in with the Miner, Elite Barbs, Fireball, Skeleton Army, the Skarmy with the Inferno Dragon for the tanking. And then Lucas has a Golem with the Skami, Arrows, Baby Drag, and the Clone Spell. So 2 slightly different decks. So we're going to see how they use them. But the Elite Barb, straight up 877 damage remaining on Lucas's right side tower. Very, very aggressive start by Beneficious.
Oh, you saw there as well that he didn't really want to use the arrows so early on that Skami, but he had to, considering how close it was towards that tower. And already taken so much damage. So the leader of Clash Royale so far still taking a heavy amount of damage, but he's trying to retaliate with his own and just couldn't really do much. But in his back pocket, instead, has still got another Skami, got a Baby Dragon as well. He wants to make matters worse. But the side of Beneficious, it is a Beneficious day, as you may have noticed already, brings down his own Skami. But will he be able to retaliate? He hasn't got the arrows, but he's got a Skami of his own to fight back if need be.
MENA chipping away on that right side tower as the Skami come in. This is going to be the first drop for Beneficious. So 1 minute and 43 seconds for Lucas to retaliate and try and get one of his own. There is barely anything touched on Beneficious, either of his towers. So really impressive that he's managed to get one of Lucas's towers down so early. But something that we've mentioned before, haven't we, Lethal, is that using the Lumberjack from Lucas, you would typically try and send in the Lumberjack with another, you know, another troop like a Valk or something, just so that when he drops the rage, they can get loads and loads of DPS boost from that rage spell. But it just seems he's not sending it with anything. There's probably a tactic involved there that I'm not really noticing. Great use of the Baby Dragon there for the splash damage by Beneficious.
No, you're right. I think it is a little bit strange here, but we're going to see what happens now, as it's going to be the final minute on the clock before it's sudden death already. Lucas down at 1 tower. The Skami comes in for Beneficious, but still doing a little bit of work. He's still to push on through. The bats come out to try and clean up any of the Skami actually going through. But look at this though, still so much damage on that left tower as well. Beneficious is absolutely going in full aggro, not before finally Lucas does defend it, but he's going to have a little bit of trouble defending this next matchup coming up with all those troops.
Beneficious has definitely taken a leaf out of Derplight's book by bringing in a dragon army that is decimating Lucas's towers. Getting a few pot shots off using the Baby Dragon on that right side Beneficious tower by Lucas, but it's just not enough. A MENA just going straight up to the face of that tire and slapping it on the face with his spade or shovel, whichever way you prefer it. Elite Barbs taking out the Skelly army as well.
Do you know what? I never actually noticed that. I'm going to have a little bit of a look now just to make sure it was a spade or a shovel. But good stuff from Beneficious there. You know, Lucas is, the top dog at the moment in Clash Royale on the leaderboard. He's been looking very, very solid. It just shows that, some people do bleed here in this leaderboard. It's a little bit of a tough one. There is dents in the armor which has been made. Will there be any more cracks? We'll have to see. So Beneficious looking very good here.
We've also only got one, I think it's only one that we have who is undefeated right now, which is Jenk Aslan on the leaderboard right now, who's 6-0. Everyone else has a loss on their books. So 18-5 currently, Lucas, but this is the third and final round of their war together. Here we go. Who can close it out? It is currently 1-1. We have Lucas coming in with the Log, the Skellies, Heal Spirit, Tesla, Tornado. So we get another cheeky spell count there. And we've got Beneficious with the Valkyrie, the Princess, Inferno Tower, Goblin Barrel, and the Log. So, yes, two very slightly different decks. Very different decks, once again.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. The Goblin Barrel did come out straight away, but he counted that, so that was very anticlimactic. But that's very, very common in this kind of meta. But the E-Giant will start us off to try and push on through. Sadly, if he used that Skami a little bit later for the E-Giant, it would have been a little bit different in terms of story and what he could have done here, but it's still playing this very, very patient, just trying to defend from this E-Giant. He knows how much damage it's going to do afterwards once it gets even close. Just using that Log just to delay the inevitable just a little bit here, just to delay as much as possible so he can get some more units out to contest this. But it has actually been able to, so good job from him. But now he's got a little bit more to deal with, and now he needs to go on the aggression for himself.
So defensively against the E-Giant, Beneficious basically has the Valk and the Princess. That's basically his main source of defense. And then obviously the Inferno Tower when he feels necessary, when he feels it's most necessary to use it. Because remember, the Inferno Tower only has 30 seconds of life. And the Tesla that Lucas is using has 35 seconds, but obviously deals out a lot less damage. So utilizing the time as well as, you know, the position of where you place that defensive structure is so crucial in a map like this.
Even with the range of the Inferno Tower, the fact that it goes from 35 to 704. So if you actually, you know, try and attract that E-Giant towards you, it's just going to get taken down so quick. And we're going to see if that actually does happen, because now he's got a little bit of defense as you push him through. But speaking of Devil, there's the Inferno Tower. You can see he's going to do a little bit, but when it comes into range, my goodness, Banks is literally going straight down and gets taken down instantly. That Inferno Tower is worth its weight in gold once again. The Goblin Barrel comes out, but does have to counter for it to make sure it doesn't do too much damage on that left tower.
Yeah, Lucas is great on defense, I must say. His defensive strategy is using the log every single time. He's always got something in his back pocket to fend off Veneficious attacks. But, I mean, like we said, Lucas, however, is slightly down 1460 on that left side tower, and he hasn't really put anything on Veneficious. That left side tower is slightly down by about 500, but that Inferno Tower is just rocking that E-Giant every time. The Eye of Sauron beating down on those little miniatures. But that Valkyrie is going to potentially go up and create some damage. No, he needs the Valk to push up a little bit more Veneficious if he's going to get a lot of damage down, because the Valk deals it out so much.
The E-Giant does come out once again. Let's see what he's going to do and see who's going to join him as he's going to push on towards that left side. The Goblin Barrel does come out again, still has the counter very well organised and well prepared. He's expecting that every single time. Has the Inferno Tower ready for the Giant to see if he will try and attract the attention here, which he does. So now it's going to do so much damage. Like we said before, the closer you are to the Inferno Tower, the more damage it's going to do, because it is based on range. But another Giant does come out here, Banks.
It's like he's using one E-Giant to bait out the Inferno Tower. Then when it goes down, the second E-Giant comes through and deals out the damage. Here we go. There you go. There's the damage dealt, plus an Earthquake spell. Here comes the spells, because you feel like they're not really getting as much value out of each of their attacks. You know, the cards that they're using just aren't quite making it to the tower. So I think here come the spells. We got the log being dished out by Veneficious. Lucas is using his log on defense mostly, and the Earthquake spell is his attacking spell right now. Using the Tornado, Lucas, to basically bring in that princess so that the Firecracker can get it down. And here comes the Valk from Veneficious on the left side.
You can see there's only a minute left of sudden death. He knows that he's not going to win this based on damage. Has to take down that left tower if he can, because there's no way he'll be able to come back from this. It's going to be a little bit too late, but you never know. 50 seconds left to play at the moment. 523 damage is to be taken on that left tower. I'm pretty sure that Lucas is looking to take it down rather than play for damage on sudden death, because of what I mentioned before. The Skami comes in for Veneficious, but all being cleaned up quite nicely from Lucas. And you can see what he's going to do now. He's going to try and push on that left side, Banks.
I mean, it's just Quake versus Log right now. 127 on that left side of Veneficious Tower. It's literally the Quake comes in again. 8. Oh, straight down. Lucas takes the win. I mean, if all else fails, you have to turn to your spells, because ultimately they were just meeting in the middle every single time, both going on the defensive, both being, well, extremely strong in defense as well, like we've already mentioned earlier about Lucas, but Veneficious as well. So it came down to the Quake spells. Can you end up getting the Quake spell on the Inferno Tower as well? But, I mean, incredible. And a great level of adaptation from Lucas as well in those final wars. So don't forget, you can sign up to the ESL Mobile Open if you want to play against these guys that you've just seen. Just put !sign up in the chat, follow all the instructions, and you could go up against some of the best in the business. And go for the glory and the prize pool at the end. Let's not forget that. Brawl Stars ladder has been jam-packed with action over this past week, so don't go anywhere, and we'll see you after the break.
ESL Mobile Open is brought to you by DHL and Pay Safeguard.
Like we mentioned last week, a sigh of relief can be breathed in by our competitors in Ladder 2 because we have no SK Gaming, no free agents, and no AC Milan clash in Ladder 2. However, having said that, our current top 3 in the leaderboard are steamrolling ahead, Lethal.
Yeah, not too much of a surprise there. Those last 3 teams you mentioned, very good tier 1 teams, not surprised they're already through. And let's talk a little bit about, some of these top teams here. Now, I'll talk a little bit about Na'Vi in particular. Now, the last couple of weeks, they've made some huge improvements. MMA and the boys have been working so hard, putting so much time into the game, and I've noticed in the competitive scene in general, they've made a huge impact and detriment in terms of what they want to do, trying to push into that tier 1 bracket of teams. But T-Drinkers also a very solid team. I'm not surprised in the slightest, but those two are at the top of the leaderboard, even by quite a considerable margin.
But Diamond EU sitting in 3rd as well. But one of the things that is actually a little bit of a surprise, I do have to say myself, is that with a record of 5 and 4 currently is Blood Diamond Russia. They are slightly lower down in the leaderboard. Now, they played so well. There you go. They're 12th right there on the leaderboard. Okay, so they've been playing so well in Ladder 1. Do you think that it's potentially got complacent or maybe just underestimated their opponents from Ladder 1?
Maybe because of the meta change, because, the patch only was released a few days ago. There's been a few changes, but I don't think it's just because of that. It could be the fact that they're getting counter-comped, maybe due to the fact that, they've been laddering more than actually been screaming. There's a lot of areas which could affect their gameplay in many ways. But even then, though, look at all these top teams. You also Spain, Bunker OG Esports, Blood Diamond Russia, even Reply Totem. I'm surprised some of these top teams are actually in 13th. I think it just shows more the fact that how competitive this leaderboard has been over the last few weeks.
And you've got Up Purple, who are just holding on to that 9th position as well, that final position that would get you into the play-ins after the 4 weeks of being in this ladder. So it's going to be very exciting. We might be seeing some of their footage from this week, potentially. You're going to have to hold on, because first up, we have Blood Diamond Russia versus Noble Elite Lethal.
Yeah, pretty standard bounty game here, as the blue star has been picked up on the red side, but the only problem is the fact that they're so massively ahead, 9-0. And Melnie's just been looking to, you can see with the Mortis as well. The whole point of the Mortis is trying to clean up any kills which damage has been done by the Tick or the Sprout. So just biding his time, just hiding away just to see if the side of Blood Diamond Russia do push up. This Noble Elite squad still very good. They've been doing very well in the last couple of weeks as well. Not as good as Na'Vi, but good nonetheless. 11-0 now, but still plenty of time to come back in this bounty game, as already you can see that these entities trying to back off with that Tick, and now you with the Brock just looking to push up ever so slightly, and Brock has been used a lot more in this meta over the last week.
Just pushed up a little bit too far, and Dizon managed to take him down, and it's just 13-3 right now. Sheer dominance from Noble Elite, really just not letting Blood Diamond Russia pile on the pressure as they typically do. So Noble Elite are actually more so being the aggressor, and they don't need to right now. They're sitting at 18 stars now. There you go. What a great knock. I think Mortis is doing extremely well up there on that top left of your screen right now. But Noble Elite, they can track back a little bit if they need to with 17 seconds left on the clock. They've even got the tiebreaker start as well, so they can just chill, and it's going to force the push from Blood Diamond Russia.
Yeah, Melnie with that Mortis has done so much work and got so many kills and so much damage in order to make things matters even worse, and this is the perfect timing for him. He's going for that 1v2 as he cleans that one, trying to take down Cube as well, and the process doesn't, but let's be honest, Banks, the damage has already been done, 24-7, as we are going to switch to Ball and see if the game mode change will make any difference into Blood Diamond Russia's gameplay.
Exactly. It just seems, I mean, even looking at the beginning of this Brawl Ball, Blood Diamond Russia are just on the back foot already. Yet again, Andrew dropping down the spikes. Perfect usage for this kind of gameplay as well. Gets dropped, but Dizon manages to pick it up and slot that first goal. It's just, Blood Diamond Russia feel like they can't progress as a unit right now. I don't know if it's the comp that they're not used to. Maybe they're adapting to the patch like you've already mentioned, but they're just not. They're typically the aggressor. Kagamu is normally right up in his opponent's faces, and look, he's tracking all the way back. So I don't know. know. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's the fact that he's chosen to use Carl. Maybe it's just slightly different brawler usage from him. But yeah, it just seems to be a bit slower from Blood Diamond right now.
Yeah, Blood Diamond Russia is one of the strongest CIS teams in their region, probably in the top 3. And, you know, against the rest of Europe, it's a little bit of a struggle here and there, depending on who they're playing against. But yeah, it could be a little bit to do with the patch, but also depends on the compositions they're actually playing against. And now, as you can see, Laoyu's just looking to push up, but also Nobly a very, very strong team. So I'm not too surprised that this is going to be a more evenly matched team compared to what we've seen in that previous game. But so far, Kagemu has been taken down. Laoyu looking to see if he can try and trade, but he can't, absolutely not, as Andre actually didn't really take any damage in the slightest, looking to push all the way down south. Keeping that ball in the corner just to waste a bit of time, because as you know, they're already up 1-0, so if they do get team wiped, it's fine. They'll take a bit more time to grab that ball and push upwards, but Laoyu can't do anything. He's using the map geometry well, but he cannot push up, as Laoyu has taken so much from Andre Melny on the left side as well. Cube has to push in over. There's only 15 seconds, but if they want to tie things up, we also need to make a statement now, or else it's all but over. But with 10 seconds left here, you can see Kagemu trying to push in that left lane. Both Melny and DZen is still trying to push him back, but Melny took down Cube around the very last few seconds, and then nothing could have done. Just got out damage. Map presence was just way too good, and Noble Elite still looking pretty good here.
Yeah, extremely dominant. But here is the Blood Diamond Russia that we know and love. Look, taking the aggressive position right here. They've switched it up a bit. They got Surge on the field for Lalu. And so he can basically try and make some plays, because they haven't really been aggressive. I mean, is this... Am I seeing... No, that is not Piper on the left. I was assuming that Kagemu was playing Piper. But we've got a pretty aggressive first start by Blood Diamond Russia here. But... Oh, Melny nearly puts it in the back of his own net, Lethal.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks a little bit similar to Piper, which is, I think, Piper with the ponytail. That's how you can normally feel the difference if it's not for the skin. But Cube has taken down Melny, so good stuff from Blood Diamond Russia. As a mate to take down 2, this is a time to try and push in, take down Andre, and then actually be able to push in further. Good stuff from him, good pass and good shot. 120 HP bangs, as now the restart and the kickoff begins. Normally, Blood Diamond Russia is making a very good comeback here. As Cube managed to get the ball, he's going to try and pass it to Laoyu if he can, but Laoyu's got, you know, enough on his plate. He's going to push on through. Must have take down 1. Also gets to take down 2 by Kagemu. Looking to pass it through. Great way to pass that and great way to finish that off. Good response there from Blood Diamond Russia.
Amazing response. I mean, Surge, Lalu managing to play the ball to himself, teleport forward, and then slot the ball. I mean, one-man team right there. A one-man army, as you would say. Blood Diamond Russia ended up winning that war, but an incredible use of each brawler from each week. A lot of variety being shown. But next up, we've got Galaxy Jupiter going up against Up Purple. Now, Galaxy Jupiter sitting in 8th and Up Purple at 9th, so both at the bottom of that play-ins bracket. So really important points to be made here, Lethal.
And it has done indeed, as now we're just going to see a little bit more of a stale pace here. It's probably going to be a stalemate situation because the map is so open. It's about a matter of who can get better range, who can get more damage. As I say that though, Tiggs actually took down Detox straight away, and they have the blue star. So, of course, if things do tie up and they've got the blue star, they will get the W. As Tom now looking to push up with that Brock and Detox on that tick. Just keeping his distance, but also trying to get Zatax actually to back away and take the entire team to back away. But this is the perfect chance for Galaxy Jupiter. Just need to keep that passive setup, keep that structure, and be prepared for the push coming up in the next 40 seconds.
Yeah, like you said, the map is so open that all they need to do is secure the tiebreaker star, maybe get 1 or 2 drops, and then just fall back and then just use Tick and Sprout to just throw the mines out and just keep them at bay, not let them make a hard push. They're going to be forced to make a hard push towards the end of the map. However, if they don't need to right at the beginning, then Galaxy Jupiter can just sit back and just try and prepare for that ultimate push that is going to happen towards the end of the map.
Yeah, 15 seconds left. This is the push we're talking about. It's normally a stalemate situation until this does happen, but with 10 seconds left, Tom's already taken way too much damage, and so has Detox. There's no way they're able to push this successfully, but they're going to give it a go anyway. It's Tom again taking a huge amount, looking to go to that right lane, does not do it in time. And the delay from the side of Galaxy Jupiter was just way too strong. They kept up the charge perfectly well. But let's see what's going to happen in this second game. It could make a difference, and the blue star does come in early for Galaxy Jupiter as they pushed in considerably. And we're going to see if it's going to be a similar situation where they will wait for the last few seconds. No kills yet, as you can see, Banks, which is a little bit of a surprise, but at the same time, not really any team or any players actually been able to take advantage of a window of opportunity.
Yeah, difficult map to really assert your dominance in, considering it's just so passive. You're going to have to use the brawlers that have a huge amount of range, so you know, like your Tick, Sprout, and it's just really difficult to win. It's Piper now at the top. There she is. There's Piper. She's got that distance, but again, there's so much coverage. Piper's prediction of where she needs to shoot in order to basically, you know, capitalize on where you're going to be is really difficult. So they've actually managed to push up a little bit now. Up Purple are really getting in their face, but just unsuccessfully because Zatax is just too good as Tick. Now pushing into Brawl Ball, Lethal.
Here we go. Now OPE needs to do some serious work with that Piper. And some of the boxes will be used as debris to kind of cover from OPE. And we'll see what he can do here. Good shots there from OPE with that Piper. This is exactly what he needs to do. He's got the range, just needs to abuse it as much as he can. Good predictive shots for the projectile. And now he's going to back all the way towards Zatax and Tix just to recover just that little bit more, as Tom now hasn't really got much cover as before. Only got that one crate, and he's trying to do everything he can to recover and try and see if he can retaliate straight after us, but not really much of a response here from Up Purple, as now OP has to pull all the way back, even though he's using that Piper to back away. But we don't really see many Pipers in Brawl Ball, so it's a little bit of a surprise. These comps aren't really what we're used to. We do see an 8-bit sometimes here and there, but again, like I mentioned before, not the comp we're not used to seeing, as they're now defensively trying to use that structure to back away. And even if they do get taken down, they can use that respawn immunity to make some kind of comeback. So Teeks takes down one, OP takes down another. So that's almost a team wipe, as it's only the 8-bit alive, as Detox takes down one just to try and calm down the pressure. But looking pretty good here for Galaxy Jupiter.
It really is, isn't it? They had the chance to go all out offensive and they just didn't quite push up hard enough, or they just didn't really take the chance when they could have had it. They could have pushed up maybe a few seconds earlier, and they just put themselves in a difficult position. Great defensive work from 8-bit, from Detox, in fact, playing as 8-bit. But yeah, OPE doing some great work as Piper. They're landing a lot of shots, putting in a lot of damage and using her super really, really well. And especially her super is destroying a lot of the map, so it's keeping it nice and open for them. But you know what? It's just difficult. Really open map, you're just subject to so much pain if you try and push forward with the ball. So having to be a lot more tactical, waiting until you get a drop so that you can then push. But then again, you've got so many defensive structures to get through, like you just saw OPE destroying some more of them. That is he assisting them by destroying them, or is he helping himself? I mean, it's kind of a bit of both, right, Lethal? Yeah,
I would say he's helping himself more than anything, just due to the fact that that's the whole point of Piper. You just got to try and abuse the range and projectiles as much as you can. But now it's going to overtime. Everything has been taken down and destroyed. It's all going to be about that range game. But with that 8-bit super, it's not going to help in any means necessary, as now Tix is going to try and get that ball and push it away if he can, because he knows his entire team are getting out-damaged and needs to try and delay the inevitable before one of his teammates can actually respawn. But it's too little too late, as Tom does eventually score, and Up Purple actually make a good comeback there, considering the position they were in. But once it went into sudden death, they can abuse the fact that it was a massive open map. But we are going to go to Gem Grab to see exactly how Galaxy Jupiter can respond on this, because they've got a very decent comp again. But how Up Purple going to continue this series win, potentially?
So this is using your lanes in this kind of map choice as well, especially within Gem Grab, because you've got to get that left and right lane pushed up so that you can allow your central brawler to go up and collect these gems. Just like you've seen Detox right in the middle as 8-bits, pushing up and collecting those gems while his teammates have gone either side. Now, obviously, they both got dropped, but again, they're probably going to use the same tactic. As you can see, OPE collecting the gems in the middle as Jean, and you've got Zatax and you've got Teeks on the left-hand side, pushing up and trying to push back Tom as Carl. See, it's great. They're using the same tactic against each other, but they're on 12 gems. Here we go. Time for Galaxy Jupiter to retreat and manage to secure this 10-second countdown as they've got right now before Tom's really aggressively pushing up as Carl. He has to. He has no other choice. 4 seconds until this game is over for this gem grab, and Teeks manages to get the drop, and that is GG for Galaxy Jupiter, Lethal.
Yeah, great stuff from Teeks there. Just being cannon fodder just until we can at least secure a W in that last game. And it's great that we're seeing Carl as well. We've seen a lot more Carl in recent days due to the patch. The fact that his projectile speed has been increased by 15%, which is a huge margin. So we've seen a lot more of him, even when the comp doesn't really synchronize that well with some of the other brawlers, but it still works like a treat individually in a lot of different occasions. So OP does take down the side of Poco, but we do see a Pam from Detox. So quite, I wouldn't say strange, but we haven't really seen much of Pam as of late. So we're going to see if it can just push in, spray and pray. But even with all that HP, still gets cleaned up. So Teeks actually takes down safe in the end, but also gets traded straight afterwards. So looking a lot better from up purple. It's OPE now just looking to try and back away as much as he can. His Teeks coming in with that Carl. But good stuff there from Zaytax with that Rico, just inflicting so much damage here and just trying to force him to back away. But as I say that, he did get taken down by Safe with that Poco. A great healer nonetheless. And now Detox is looking to push around that left lane with the Pam.
Just to reiterate what you said, this is basically the Zatax show. He has decimated on that left-hand side. Got so many drops and dished out so much damage. He's basically pushed up and allowed the rest of his teammates to collect these 8 gems. Zatax is doing so well using Rico's ability to bounce his shots off of walls and off of boxes. And he's done such a great job. Yeah, he's gone down, but the amount of pain he's inflicting has done absolute wonders for Galaxy Jupiter. As they try and collect these final 2 gems, one more gem will do it, and then they can go on the retreat. But Zatax is forcing them into the middle by having that right lane covered, but also pushing his shots into the central compartments. Lethal. I was about to call you Zatax.
I wish it was Zatax as skilled as him in that department, as it's still going to continue on. Teeks takes on Detox. That's pretty much said and done here. If Up Purple did actually have like 8 gems, they could have continued holding that centre half, because then they could also be on 10 gems. They can reset the countdown, and then it'll be a stalemate situation once more to see if they can take down Galaxy Jupiter. But sadly for them, one of them did lose one of the gems at the time, had to back away, have that defensive stance, and then just follow through with that series. Great stuff from them. Some interesting comps as well. Ever since that patch, we've seen a little bit more variety with some of the brawlers being selected. So it's good to see, and you know, it's going to establish more as the weeks come by.
It's great to see the variety, and it's great to see some out-of-the-box thinking by some of our players as well. The brawlers being used, they're definitely trying to shake things up, which is awesome. But we can't wait to see what next week's leaderboard is going to be like as things are heating up. So don't forget, you can follow us, put !social in the chat. Drop us a follow so that you can keep up to date with everything that's going on in the ESL Mobile Open throughout the weeks as well, because we have a new leader buckle up in the Clash of Clans leaderboard. So don't go anywhere. See you off the break.
See the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark. No fear, getting ready for the ride. Yeah, stepping into the light. No limit, aim high. No limit, the price is mine.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. All we know is ball to empty out the mouths. The chosen one they call, I take my fan with me. Know about it if you tell, know you're breaking calls. Want your credibility and all, fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance? All I wanna know. Need me real ones when it's time to go. Stepping in, elevator. Listen to all the haters. That's all we know when we level up. Yeah, that's all we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. I found out I'm not alone, 'cause I'm just like you. There's no failing when we fight. We're not afraid to. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
ESL Mobile Open is brought to you by DHL and Pay Safeguard.
Plenty of incredible wars were fought this week amongst our clans, but let's not forget we don't have alternate attacks, we don't have Tribe Gaming, and we don't have MCES to worry about. So, just hundreds of other top tier clans to worry about. No biggie, Lethal.
No biggie at all. And I'm looking forward to see what's changed in the last week in terms of some of the players' attacks, some of the base layouts. D-Man, we know he loves his ring base. Might even see some of those. Will be interesting to see. Simple but effective. But it's more about the attack scene. You know, what's changed, what's going to happen here, as you know, it's getting pretty tight now. We're getting to the later stages of this ladder, and everything is possible, you know, to fight for that first place spot to qualify and the second to ninth to go for the plains. It's huge between these teams. And looking at the standings so far, Relentless Gaming on top. Silent Snipers, I'm not surprised. I remember in the last plains they had such a great loser bracket run and then sadly fell at the last hurdle, but I'm glad to see they're in still one of the top spots along with everyone else.
Yes, indeed. Nolex from Germany. We've got Inquisition as well. Bazinga, who were top of the table, now slipped down to 7th, and Carnage Gaming still sitting there in that top 9, which is fantastic to see. Penta as well in 3rd. A really strong choice. Definitely going to have to see them in the play-ins this time round. But also, we've seen quite a lot of meta change as well. Obviously, since the Town Hall 14 update, we've had a lot of changes, and we've seen a lot of clans really adapting well with the new meta. But it seems to be Air being the choice for everything. The Air attacks seem to be it. But Timevale Gaming slipping out of the top 9, unfortunately. And we've got some amazing squads, or amazing clans, in fact, sorry, from 9 to 16. Affiliate on Esports still up there, Zepto as well, and Titan Global Gaming. So we've got a really strong top 16 and not a huge amount of points in it. I mean, if you look at it, 1139 down to 1060. There's still so much to play for, as you can rack up 38, 39 points per game if you're playing someone that's top tier, Lethal.
Exactly, and sometimes it can be 20-something points for some of them. Like you said earlier, quality over quantity when talking about Clash Royale. If you beat some of these top teams, you're just going to zoom straight up. So you've got to think about that, you know, the caliber of skill. You've got to know what your skill grade is as well. If you don't feel like you can challenge them, or you don't think you're good enough and you need a bit more experience, that's perfectly fine. You know, just challenge someone around your leaderboard area. You won't get as many points, but, you know, every point does count at this moment in time. Look how tight the scoreline is in comparison. We know if affiliate on Esports is literally about 20-something points, that's literally like a win or 2 wins even, just to try and at least close the gap. That's how close it is, babes. It is ridiculous. That's why I'm so excited to find out what's happened over the course of this week.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands, Relentless are at the top at 18 and 6, but we're going to jump into Inquisition versus Zepto, 5th position versus 12th position currently. N-Strike is going to come in from Inquisition with E-Drags. Look at that, 7 E-Drags with his 11 loons. This is going to be a sweeping attack across the base. Going to send in the blimp initially, and I believe it's going to be Sneaky Goblins inside this blimp, just to ensure that he gets down the Town Hall, make sure he doesn't falter on the potential losing of a star, get that Town Hall down using those Sneaky Goblins, and then we can start with the main phase of the attack, which is going to be the E-Dragons.
Yeah, no messing around here, no patience from the side of Striker, as he's been very aggressive, and it looks like he's taking a good look at exactly where he wants to attack. So Skeletons will be going on that right side. As you know, not really too much happening here during this later stage, during the halfway mark of this game. But wait to see what's going to be coming up next, as the Baby Dragon does pop out on that 3 o'clock position, just going towards the Skeletons there. But still plenty of time to work with. Still got 90 seconds left, and so far Striker doing pretty good. At least he's taking down the Town Hall straight away. But one of the E-Drags do come out, some of the rest of the balloons, and this is where the main portion of the attack is going to occur, Max.
Yes, so your best friend right now is going to be Rage Spells and the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome, which have all been popped. 2 Rage Spells go down to ensure that they sweep across this base nicely and don't get distracted by the buildings that were on the right-hand side of the base. That's why I used the Baby Dragon to clean them up. Here we go, more Rages are going to have to be dropped. These kinds of attacks are crucial because you're not really going to have rage spells for the back end of your attack. It's literally how much can you keep up? How much can you help survive throughout the attack so that the back end can still be taken out? Because as you see, E-Dragon starting to go down from the defensive structures, taking them down. There's one, there's two. We've got two up top that are going to go down towards the multi-target Inferno, along with the Queen and the King and the Royal Champ with cleanup around the top side. But we've still got plenty up. We've got three still up. The multi's going to go down. One E-Drag goes down again. Another E-Drag goes down. This is what I'm talking about. If those E-Drags dropped any earlier, you would be in so much trouble with this attack. But fortunately for them, the heroes are still nice and healthy. So just using them for the cleanup, and that right there is a triple from End Striker to kick off the war between Inquisition and Zepto Lethal.
3-star, potentially 100%, not really too bad there. As you know, those E-Drags are there to consume as much damage as possible for the Loons to come in quite nicely. So good stuff from him. It looks like it will be 100% just on the margin with only literally about half a second left. Ridiculous stuff from them, and a great attack as well. It was being very patient halfway through. I think he was trying to figure out exactly what path to take in order to go for his E-Drags and Loons as well, but taking that Town Hall first was like absolutely vital, and it's a great way to kick things off for Striker. Again, 100% 3 stars, you can't complain.
Definitely can't complain. As we progressed as well, you know, like into Town Hall 14, the defensive structures have a bit more, you know, HP. So one thing that can happen is time failing, and that's just one thing you don't want to ensure. So E-Drags are perfect to prevent any time failing because it's a very speedy attack. Zap Quake going down on top of the Queen, the Eagle, and the Scatter to get down those defensive structures, which is crucial because we've got a Dragon army coming in hot from, well, I mean, we're going to have to wait and see where he drops it from. However, it's getting down that Eagle and the Scatter is just so essential because the Scatter deals so much damage and the Eagle can just keep popping off. But he's drawn out the CC troops, and those are 3 ice golems, and he's going to drag them out using an archer on the bottom of the base, and I think he's going to drop down the Queen at some point shortly, using the E-Drag to tank this right side just to take out as many buildings as he can. But here comes the Queen at the bottom with the Yak.
Yeah, we don't really normally see ice golems, you know, defending. It's not like too often, but, you know, it's nice to see a little bit of a change as the Loons do coming on that right side, still going towards the air defense and be able to take it down. But here come the Drags as well, just to try and continue on with the push and try and do as much as they can, as already a huge amount of damage has occurred on that 3 o'clock position as the Inferno Tower is getting involved, as well as the Arch Tower and the Wizard Tower as well. But the free spell does come in just to delay things a little bit further, just so they can stop the DPS flying through from the defense of fight. But so far so good, as now to continue on further, including that south side as well in the 6 o'clock position, with the Inferno Tower just inflicting so much damage as they're going towards that Town Hall with the blink.
Grand Warden waiting to use the Eternal Tome. He's going to have to use it at a crucial point. There he goes as the Giga Inferno starts roaring down on the Loons and the Drags. He pops the Eternal Tome just to keep them nice and healthy for, I think, 8 to 9 seconds. I'm not quite sure. Grand Warden's extended the time of the Eternal Tome, given Town Hall 14, and he's gone up by 5 levels. But sweeping across the base, loads of Dragons still up, and I'll correct myself from earlier. The Queen was with the Unicorn and the King was with the Yak, but they both got dropped at the bottom at 6 o'clock with the base. But still sweeping across, got plenty of Dragons still alive, plus the Grand Warden is still up. This is looking like a GG with the Royal Champion up top, just chipping away at that multi-target Inferno. Now it is time for cleanup, and it's looking like he has plenty of it. Sasha from Zepto with a triple of his own.
Yeah, just a few mines, drill and storages in order to finish things up. I have to point out though, the Queen with the Unicorn as well, literally must have been like 1 or 2% health at the time of that Unicorn until he actually managed to take out some of those cannons and Inferno Tower on that south side. It was so close. Didn't even have any more heals or spells in order to actually recuperate from the HP she had, and still managed to survive. So that was a big play, even though it probably would have been at least 2-star anyway, but I'm not sure would have got 100% considering the time he had left. But great stuff from him and great attack, very well planned.
Yeah, a crucial thing to note as well is that the Unicorn will only heal your hero if they're standing still. So that's the thing that it's kind of a bit more, it's a bit more of a good choice really to use the King with the Unicorn, because they stand still probably a bit more often. The Queen just deals out so much damage and keeps moving. However,
start stepping.
they kind of know a little bit more than me, so I'm going to put it up to the pros to basically show us how it's done. However, in my mind, I'm like, surely we're better with the King. However, we're going to jump straight into Inquisition's final attack of the war, and he has to get a triple to close this one out. This is Fight from Inquisition. We've got a nice boxy base here, which is going to be strong, and we've got 4 super wizards in in tow as well. This right here, this is a P.E.K.K.A. smash. He's got 3 P.E.K.K.A.s in the back, and he's got a siege barracks to drop, which will take out an additional P.E.K.K.A. to try and basically steamroll through the space. You've got jump spells, you've got rage spells to try and absolutely just create an onslaught of a wave and attack. And I'm assuming he's going to come from this left side because he's opened it up with a couple of super wall breakers, Lethal.
Yeah, I said it before, this is D-Man's one of his personal favourites in terms of base layout, so we have to see what we can do. It is quite simple but effective. Even back in the plains, it was very difficult to try and get through, even with that 3-star 100%. I think it was like 2 out of 8 times it was successful, but let's see how much has changed ever since back then, when it was only a few weeks ago, as the 2 troops do come out. They're all going to be pushing through. The Inferno Tower doing a lot of work from the centre. Free spell does come out to delay the DPS once more. The Expo, though, still doing a huge amount on that left side, as well as the cannon, as the sweeper now just to push everything back as much as possible, as the Ice Golems from the defensive side of Chi still looking to do what they can, but the Hog Riders are coming in, Banks, to try and clean up some of the attack.
Absolutely full send into this central compartment. I mean, look at this, all the heroes. Royal Champ was on the left-hand side, Hoggies have come out, and he also had Witches in the CC as well, along with the P.E.K.K.A. Drops the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome, has popped and kept everything nice and healthy as they progress through, because remember, we've still got a scatter shot to worry about. We've still got the enemy queen to worry about, the multi-target Inferno, the cannons. There's so many defensive structures in this central compartment. They just need to absolutely fly through, use as many rages as you can, pops the King ability to try and get everything down as quickly as possible. That Builder Hut is still raining damage on his heroes. He needs to get that down. But look at the outer ring from the center as well. There's still so many defensive structures up. You've got 3 Teslas and you've got 2 Wizard Towers and 2 Archer Towers. There's still so much to get through, Lethal.
Yeah, and there's still that mortar at the top as well, which hasn't been taken down at all. He's in range, but I don't think he'll be able to get it here. There's still so much DPS coming from the side of Zepto, and it looks like they could be okay here. 20 seconds left, but still got to take out the rest of the storages. The mortar is on that north side. Not going to do a huge amount because the damage per second is so slow. So the archers and the wizard on the south side still looking to finish things up if they can. Sadly for the queen, stuck in the middle going through the walls there, but it should be okay. Just a couple of seconds left. Will be able to clean up the storage with 1 second remaining. Yes, he does, 100%. 3 stars. He's going to be very happy with that. A couple of games that have been very, very tight in the circumstances they put themselves in, but looking very good so far. It just shows that back in the plains 3 weeks ago, people were struggling against the base layout at that. Like, you know, like I said, it was like 2 out of 8 or 2 out of 9 attempts were successful. But now it seems to be, you know, a lot of these players have actually adapted and then adjusted to their attacks.
That's the thing, like that particular attack that we just saw as well, the P.E.K.K.A. Smash can lose a lot of momentum towards the back end of the attack. I mean, you get in, you get the jump spell, the rage spell, everything is just going carnage in the middle of the base. And then when it comes out towards the back end of the base and you've still got defensive structures picking things off, he was lucky that he had 2 P.E.K.K.A.s that were still up at the very end of that attack that were managing to use, that he managed to use, for cleanup. But I mean, that could have gone a very different way. So luckily manages to see it out with a triple and get Inquisition the win. So we're going to jump straight into 12th versus 14th. Zepto once again going up against Time Fail Gaming. Now Time Fail were in the top 8 last week, so they've had a few losses, but let's see how this one plays out. Tobias from Time Fail Gaming coming in first, and he's going to come in with a Queen Charge Lalo. Old Faithful, Lethal.
Well, it's going to be looking good here. A lot of patience here from the side of Tobias from Time Fail Gaming, just to decide what he would like to do going forward. And it's going to be a tall order for him here. Like you said, you know, between the positions, what we do. Zepto, I do remember the team in an interview saying that, you know, they were quite casual at first, very competitive now, completely different side of the coin compared to how they come into this first, but will be attacking from that south side in the 6 o'clock position. The mortar does come out and the archer tower just to delay things a little bit or as much as they can, as one of the cannons has been taken down. Still another cannon there, and that balloon is just used just to see if it can bait out any of the traps along that 6 o'clock position, as the cannon's still trying to do as much damage as he can from that 5 o'clock site, but the healer's still doing a lot of work, and Heal Spell comes in as well as that balloon pushing to see if there's any more traps.
That queen so nearly popped her ability early. She went down to a fraction of her health, and luckily the healers got into the rage spell and beefed her up just in time. That was so close. Now, whether or not that was tactical or that was almost a mistake, I don't know. We'll have to ask him personally. Here comes the blimp. The blimp is going to pop, and what is inside to try and get this town hall down? It's either going to be sneaky goblins or it could be something a little bit more tanky, but the ice golems get drawn out of the CC, and we're going to wait and see. Once the town hall goes down, luckily we are going to see this queen push, and it is so impressive how much value that Tobias manages to get out of this queen charge. She is still up, she is still moving. We have the jump spell in that compartment to jump her into the middle to try and get the scatters down, to try and get the builder huts down as well that are surrounding that central CC building, Lethal.
Yeah, you're right though. You know, great value from the queen there, doing more work than it should be able to do here, which is exactly what you want to see. And still taking out quite a big portion here, you know, with the talents in the middle as well, and the crossbow, or the expo, we should say, to still trying to continue as much DPS as possible in order to delay things even further. And we haven't even seen the bulk of the attack there. Look at that though. 24 loons, and speak of the devil banks, here we go. It is all coming in the perfect position as well to take out the cannon, the archer tower, and the wizard tower, as maybe the expo as well. If you can take out in time, but the test is still doing a huge chunk of damage in the middle, but will he be able to do anything? And that's the question. But Eagle Artillery does so much damage to those loons, but you know, it's been healed at the same time, so hopefully he'll get healed in time for this next attack.
Yeah, the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome is protecting those 24 loons as they push through the base, but the Queen, she's still up. It's unbelievable. How much value do you want to get out of your Queen? This is unreal. Like, they've committed so many rage spells to keeping her healed, and if she went down, that would have been such a waste, but so impressive as the final defensive structures go down. Look how many loons are still up. We got a full health Grand Warden, and we got a really beefed up Queen as well. Really impressive attack there from Tobias to kick things off for Timefall Gaming. Super impressed. I mean, like you already mentioned, the loons came out so late in that attack, and he managed to keep them all up by using the Grand Warden's Eternal Time, and just really clever spell placement there, Lethal.
Yeah, it took a lot of the air defense or the Inferno Towers as well. The Eagle Artillery did do a chunk of damage at one point, but it was way too little too late then. There's nothing it could have done. Perfect placement, as you can see, and it was such a clean attack, probably the cleanest we've seen out of all, you know, the past matches so far. So it's good stuff from them. I'm interested to see if they do be able to push themselves into that top 9 and maybe even make it to play-in. So interesting stuff all to play for.
Well, Rico is about to answer back for Zepto in our next attack, and he's coming in with his own Queen Charge Lalo. It's like, okay, hold my drink, because I'm about to come in and show you how a Queen Charge Lalo is really done. Pretty much exactly the same composition. We got the blimp as well, and we're going to see where he's going to kick things off, most likely with the Queen, and he's going to use a Coco Loon up top with the blimp. So the Coco Loons are there to absorb any potential bombs that could blow up the blimp. He's going to push into this central compartment, drop down the rage, and out comes a Yeti. Yeti being pushed back by the Lava Hound that's come out of the CC, but the Yeti manages to get quite a bit down, and the Yeti mites have managed to drop, and here comes the Queen with the main push of this attack to try and see if she can stay up for as long as possible. Drop the poison on top of that Lava Hound to make sure she gets it down in quick succession there, Lethal.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that the Queen and the Unicorns is trying to do as much as they can. Only taking out some of the storages for now. So that Lava Hand's been taken out. Lava Pups are going to get cleaned up nicely. But she's got a healer, so that shouldn't be an issue. As the only things attacking her right now is the Archer Tower, the Cannon. The second Cannon and the Expo will get involved in a second, as well as the Mortar. But the Loon has come out just to see if there's any more traps. Haven't really found many as of yet, and you know, it's a little bit worrying now, because it could be a detriment to the attack, which is going to happen very shortly.
Yeah, 21 loons are going to be used for the back end, along with a Lava Hound, that if they absorb the black bombs, it could mean curtains. That's why he's dropping the occasional coconut loon to try and get them out. Look, he keeps dropping them left and right, you know. He's got the King up top, yet to use the King's ability, but he's basically providing cleanup around the outer edge because he knows the loons are going to be the main bulk of this attack. Town Hall is still up in the middle of the base. The Town Hall is still there. So is he going to use the Queen to take down the Town Hall? Most likely, he's going to probably commit a rage spell over the Queen and the healers. There we go, right on time. And he's dropped down that amazing jump spell. What a great jump spell positioning, just to basically make sure that the Queen can get in and out and around all of these compartments to get as much value out of her as possible. She's being nicely topped up by the healers while she attacks the enemy Queen and the Town Hall. What a great amount of value once again, Lethal.
Yeah, just a little bit worried about these traps. Not too sure if the traps did actually occur or not, or if he actually found any of the traps with those loons earlier on. But you saw the King at the top. He was trying to take out some more of the defense on that top right side. Couldn't finish off the cannon, but it doesn't matter, as the loons are coming in, looking pretty good so far. 35 seconds left, but Multi-Inferno Tower is still doing, well, you could say, causing absolute havoc, and still trying to push in every way he can. 25 seconds left. It's definitely going to be very close, as the two loons at the top still trying to clean up those arch towers and the turrets above. Sadly, won't be able to, but still not really much left here. He's got 15 seconds left remaining, Banks.
And the Queen's ability was unfortunately popped when the enemy King, went and started attacking her. However, it is absolutely fine. The healers are still up. The Queen is at full health, and all it is cleanup right now from the gold storages as the minions get that last one on the right-hand side. GG right there for Rico from Zepto, managing to secure the triple. Another Queen charge Lalo with a huge amount of value from that Queen, Lethal.
The spot on though is literally the air meta. We've seen it quite a few times now. Doesn't matter on your base layout and what you see defensively, it's looking very strong. Wasn't as clean as the attack beforehand, but still the 3-star 100%, that's all you want nonetheless. So good stuff from him.
Well, don't forget, if you want to go up against some of these clans, I mean, I don't know why you'd want to go up against exclamation mark, sign up in the chat, and you follow all the instructions. You could be going up against some of the best in the business, some of the guys that we've just seen, absolutely incredible attacks. And if you think you've got what it takes, sign up. And Lethal, I've got to ask you the question, all right? Are there anything from the highlights from this week that's particularly stood out for you?
I think Team Sky on PUBG Mobile, the fact that they're in between all three of those teams and using their initiative as a team to coordinate and get out of that situation, it's very, very rare, especially on a map like Miramar. That's some excellent stuff. Dirtblight, how he's playing on Clash Royale as well. Just a little things here and there just making such a huge impact in their gameplay, and I look forward to see what happens next week.
Yes, Surge in that Brawl Ball has to be mine. What an incredible use of the teleport, and then slots the goal. There you go. Thanks very much. There's the win. Incredible. So week 2 of Ladder 2 is now completed. So it feels like the end is almost in sight, and the challenge finals are going to creep up faster than you think. So get your reps in to make sure that you and your team make it into the top 9. And don't forget, we're going to have the Asphalt 9 challenge Open finals this Saturday, okay? Make sure you tune in. And thank you so much to my co-host Lethal for all of your hard work. You've been absolutely amazing this week. And thank you so much to the production team at ESL for making all of this happen. My name is Banks, and I'll see you next time.
I go ready for